howdy diddly dandy there, chums, to Sci, Captain of the Steves, and today, chums, for you guys out there in the viewerverse, I've got some ideas to improve shuttles. This is like a Shuttles Overhaul video, heck yes. Righto, so love them or hate them, people. They're the Marmite of NoMansSky, aren't they, these? Anyhow, I did a video on this one some time ago. Yes, I've ditched this one a couple of times and then gone back for it myself, but here you go. There's the video of where I got it before. Yeah, go grab yourself one if it appeals. It's kind of nice as far as shuttles goes, this one, people. Anyway, I'm thinking that technically you got the missions agent up here. Now, a lot of these missions that you get up here, it's boots on the ground and planet type side stuff. It'd be nice if there was a secondary tab with the actual missions agent that was ship related missions. So depending on what ship you're in, and depends on what missions it automatically brings up. So it knows I'm in a shuttle, it brings up a load of shuttle related missions. So those missions might be rescue stranded life form, salvage and scrap a crashed ship, or investigate an abandoned building, localized away missions. And I would like to have this sort of missions agent or ship missions agent aboard our actual freighters as well, so we can do away missions, but I get to that in a mo. So right, and what I would like the shuttles to have is, as well as having like an economy scanner, is to have a secondary scanner for a ship perk type scanner. And I think all sorts of ships should have this. And in the way of the shuttles, what it does is it takes away or negates the need for, say, these sort of charts, these planetary charts. I mean, that could be secondary, you know, but you hit on up your scan, boom, it sends out a wave, and it's a distress signal thing. So it might find abandoned buildings, or it might find a distress signal, meaning that you can do away with having to run around and use those maps all the time. If you're using a shuttle, it pulls up all of these sort of things, the distress sort of maps, it negates those. So there we go, I'm going to fly on over to the distress beacon and see if it's a crashed ship, because another perk will be related to the crashed ships. Okay, so while you're in your ship, when you land next to a crashed ship, what I'm hoping to have is another scanner when you're in landing mode that you can go to, and you can hit up promote scrap of the ship. So here we go, going to here, I hit up this, pretend that that's it, boom, and then we'll come up with, do you want to scrap nearby ship? Maybe it could come up, you know, like when you claim a base, or you use one of those beacon detector things, and it shoots up in the air with a little ring that comes around and shows you the area, and then zooms back in again. Maybe you could do that same sort of animation, and then say, do you want to scrap the nearby ship? So there we go, I've got a shuttle that I might be able to scrap there, and here's another one that I'm landing next to. Now this one is rescue stranded life form, but wouldn't it be funny if the actual same thing happened? You can see the NPC walking around there, but wouldn't it be quite funny if it came up and said, do you want to scrap this ship? And you scrap it and you just see the little sort of guy go, no, and maybe he just changes into a grave marker or something. That'd be quite funny. But yeah, you can claim this actual scrap, so you don't have to pick the ship up, fly it up to the station, do any repairs. You can mobile scrap it. And say if you scrap it on a planet that's infested, maybe it could give you some tainted metal. Yeah, if it's on an exotic-y type weird biome or an infested biome and you find a crashed ship there, perhaps then scrapping it gives you some tainted metal, maybe some anomaly detectors and things like that. So there's pluses to scrapping a ship on the actual planet that it's in, because it's being bombarded by the environment. I think that's quite a nice tasty little idea as a little extra perk for having a shuttle. Heck yes, I think I'd get the shuttle if it had that in it. Now, as for stats and things for the shuttles, I mean, this is a B class. I think at a B class, and I've fully maxed it as a B class, I think that's where it should stop on slottage. I think this should be where it is at an S class. I think they should be worse than this at a B and a C, but when you get to an A or an S, then you've got this sort of level of slottage and the stats go to this sort of level. And I kind of feel that it shouldn't really have the hyperdrive is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking you use this from your actual freighter and you fly out from your freighter for away missions in that system. Maybe you could have a hyperdrive but jump in system, maybe it breaks some of the tech. A bit like how other ships, when they fly through black holes, it breaks tech. I think if you tried to take your shuttle through a black hole, I think it should be crash landed again on a frickin' neighbouring planet somewhere in a ball of frickin' fire. You know what I mean? And I'm also thinking, how can we tie these shuttles to drop pods? Now I'm thinking maybe if you board an NPC freighter inside of, you know, uncontrolled space or whatever, and you just land on an NPC freighter, it'd be nice if they had drop pod rooms that had coordinates of where their drop pods have dropped to. And you can get those coordinates and maybe feed them into your shuttle, or maybe your shuttle can autopilot you to those drop pod locations. Or maybe we've just got an extra scanner in there, you know, like how you've got on your exocraft where you can find drop pods. Perhaps shuttles can also pick up drop pods, because that's kind of part of distress beacons and stuff, isn't it? You know, you usually get inside of drop pods and jettison from a freighter that's in distress. I mean, they could be on derelicts. They don't have to be on NPC freighters and controlled freighters. They could be on derelict freighters. Occasionally we come across them. But I would love the actual ability to key in coordinates on here. Select your planet from the Discoveries page, then key in your coordinates, and away the shuttle goes, like on an autopilot sort of thing. Also, on planets, sometimes you hit up those beacons, those little waypoint beacons, these things here, and you save a waypoint. It'd be nice in a shuttle if you select one of those on a planet that you've already been to before. It says, do you want to autopilot there? And then it enters into some sort of cinematic drive mode and flies you to that planet and to that actual location and that waypoint. The amount of times I want to go back to waypoints and then you can't really. It doesn't even bring up the coordinates. But wouldn't it be cool to have an autopilot feature to take you straight back to a previously visited waypoint? I know I'd love that. And also, if you could go out in camera mode and you could do cinematics, a little bit like on Red Dead Redemption, where you've got the cinematic travel mode, or maybe on Skyrim or whatever. But if they brought that into NoMansSky, it would make it so awesome for making some little videos of the actual planets and stuff. Yeah, I would like that feature if it was inbuilt inside of shuttles. I kind of feel that that feature would be nice for every ship, but perhaps you have to scrap a shuttle to get that technology first to put into your ship. That would kind of make sense, wouldn't it? So still grab a shuttle, scrap it to get that sort of engine to stick in your ship. Yeah, but there we go. I think they would be some real nice perks to round off the actual shuttle and make sense of the shuttle as a class, and to give it all the perks that a shuttle should have, in my opinion, to make it stand out from the rest of your fleet. And I kind of feel that they need to do this with every single ship type and give them reason to be and reason to have them inside of your fleet, because at the moment pretty much any ship you can make them kind of very versatile and very samey. So yeah, this for me is going to, I would love to hope that they pick this as an idea up and say, you know what, totally makes sense. I mean, what doesn't make sense is, where do these drop pods even come from? You know what I mean? Yeah, it gives sense to the drop pods, wouldn't it, if you put them in derelict freighters or even in NPC freighters or inside of our own? Give us the drop pod NPC tech desk or whatever, people. Yeah, till next time. Goodbye, and goodbye again. Well, thank you very much for watching. If you like what you see, please hit a like and a subscribe, and I'd like to say a massive great big thank you to all of my backers over on Patreon and over on YouTube membership. Thanking you, backers! And if you want to support this channel, just don't skip the adverts. That throws revenue down my avenue. Or yeah, just stay with Captain Steve that little bit longer and hit something on this screen. There's merch here now too.